Welcome to this parking lot northeast of Center City, Philadelphia. This is Chinatown Station. Chinatown Station opened in 1932, 69 years before I was born. Very nice. It opened 4 years after the main section of the Broad Street line opened in 1928. This station was originally known as Vine Street Station, due to the nearby Vine Street. When the station opened, trains operated from Market Street, which is now known as 8th Street, all the way up through Chinatown on their way to Girard Station. However, now trains run from 8th Street all the way up to Fern Rock Transportation Center, the northern terminus of the BSL. What does the BSL mean? Well, it stands for the Broad Street Line, which runs around 10 miles from North Philly through Center City to South Philly. It is the line that Chinatown Station is a part of. The station is owned by the City of Philadelphia and rail service is operated by Septa. The station is located here in northeastern Center City in the Chinatown area, about a 20-minute walk from City Hall. On the map you can find it here on this little spur coming off the main Broad Street line as it enters Center City. There are two entrances to the station. The main one is here at the corner of Race and North 8th Street. There's this nice little courtyard area, but I think it'd be nice if they added some benches and foliage. There's also one on the eastern side of the station that I did not know existed until after I filmed the on-location part of this video. Using the main entrance, you can enter the station on both sides. I chose the side with the big spinning fare gate thingy because I wanted to experience that type of fare gate for the first time, and this was also the first time I used the Septa key card to pay for transit. The station has a very long platform, which feels out of place for how low the ridership of this station is, and the fact that trains that serve this station are only 2 cars long. This was my first time on any sort of subway or rapid transit outside of the DC area, and outside of the DC Metro. Here are some of my preliminary thoughts. The station design has that New York City subway vibe that I like to call it. I'm used to the DC Metro where there is plenty of space between the top of the train and the ceiling to the station building. But in these low-roofed, old, built like a century ago stations, there is just little room between the top of the train and the ceiling. I didn't really notice this until I was actually there, but it made the vibes really different. I saw the train slowly enter the station, and it was just such a vibe, such a different vibe than I'm used to. I don't know exactly how to explain it. It felt way less modern than the DC Metro, but it also had more of a real-life, lived-in feeling than the sleek but sterile DC Metro. Now, don't get me wrong, I like that the DC Metro is clean and that it's pretty nice, but it's just the different vibes were just different, and I just kind of liked the change of pace, if that makes any sense. Also, Chinatown Station was pretty clean. I mean, I have heard a lot about Septa being absolutely disgusting, especially compared to the DC Metro, which is arguably the cleanest metro in the United States. But it was pretty clean, and I suspect that's because it just gets such low ridership that you're just not going to make a mess if there's not many people there in the first place. All right, let's talk about the location and surroundings of this station. Chinatown Station is located in the eastern part of Chinatown, which is north of Center City. Philadelphia's Chinatown started when a small number of Chinese laborers who were facing anti-Chinese sentiment in the western part of the U.S. were pushed eastward after the completion of the Transcontinental Railroad, which Chinese immigrants had a large part in constructing. Chinatown started when a man by the name of Li Fong opened a laundromat at 913 Race Street. In the early 20th century, the area around 900 Race Street grew into a Chinese enclave, and after World War II, more Chinese immigrants came and the area saw lots of development, with churches, businesses, and social cultural organizations springing up to cater to the new immigrant community. During the same time, the Vine Street Expressway was constructed, which displaced residences and limited growth opportunities. However, continued activism by the local community has kept the Chinese Philadelphian community surviving and thriving over the years. Looking in the other direction to the east is Franklin Square Park, known in the transit world as home to the Patco station that will be opening after decades of closure. Right outside of the station is a stop for the southbound 67 and 47 Septa buses, and a block away is a stop for the northbound 47. There are also New Jersey Transit bus stops right to the north and 2 blocks to the west. So the station does have decent bus connections. However, that doesn't stop it from being the least used. Going from City Hall in Center City, Philadelphia at 5 p.m. on a weekday to Chinatown Station, it would take around 17 minutes by foot, 12 minutes taking the Broad Street line with a 0-minute transfer, 6 minutes by biking, and 7 minutes by car. The average headway between trains varies depending on the time of day and the day of the week. The trains run every 7 minutes during rush hour, every 14 to 20 minutes during midday, and less frequently during the early morning and late evening periods. On Saturdays, trains run every 20 minutes, which is not great, and on Sunday, there is no service to this station or any of the two stations on the Broad Ridge Spur. Weekday service runs from about 5:45 a.m. to 9 p.m., while Saturday service starts around 6:45 a.m. and ends at 9:15 p.m. A one-way trip from this station to any other station on the Broad Street line will cost you $2.50 for one trip and $96 for a monthly pass for all of the subways, buses, and trolleys within the city of Philadelphia. This is the least used station on Septa's entire subway system. I'm defining that as the Broad Street line and also the Market Frankford line. So, try to guess how many entries this station got on an average weekday back in 2018, which is the last year of good data available. Go on, I'll give you a few seconds to just leave a comment down below. Just pick a number. Doesn't matter if you're right or wrong, but maybe one of you will be pretty close. All right. And the weekday entries for Chinatown Station in fiscal year 2018 was 343 people per weekday. That's 5 times less than the second least used station on the Broad Street line, which is Wyoming Station at 1,880 entries per weekday. These numbers are from 2018, before the pandemic threw a wrench into transit ridership worldwide. According to Septa's Ridership Recovery Dashboard, the Broad Street line is around 70% to pre-pandemic levels, which comes to around 240 entries at Chinatown Station per weekday in late 2024. So I just want to give you a little bit of context on that number, 240 entries per weekday at Chinatown Station in October of 2024. I have the data for Loudoun Gateway, which is the least used station on the DC Metro system. And in October of 2024, that station got approximately 308 entries per day. Not even per weekday, but per day. If we turn this off and just select weekday, it'll probably be like 400. No, 358. But it still gets more riders than Chinatown did before COVID, when ridership in general was higher, and it's 30 miles away from the city center. So this just shows how underutilized Chinatown Station really is. So, why is Chinatown the least used station? I'd say it's due to a few different reasons. Reason 1, there just isn't much around the station. As you could see in the satellite photos, a lot of the land around the station is dedicated to the storage of cars. Just parking lots, parking garages. Not very conducive to riding transit. Number 2, the station is on a spur that is only directly connected to the northern part of the Broad Street line and the northern part of the city. And the spur also receives less frequent service than the main part of the line. Number 3, getting to Chinatown from the eastern side of the city where there's bus routes is sometimes even faster than taking the Broad Street line, so there's really no point in taking it. All these circumstances compounded give us the least used subway station on Septa. However, if the controversial 76ers City Center basketball arena gets constructed, then Chinatown Station would not be too far from the new arena, which may spur a decent amount of ridership on game days. And while the plans to construct the arena are ready to go, there's been significant community opposition and many roadblocks to get the permits and everything for the construction of the arena. And as of I'm writing this, late 2024, the arena has not been approved. The Chinatown in Chinese, probably Mandarin. All right, let's talk about the pros and the cons of Chinatown Station. The pros are 7-minute service during rush hour is pretty good. The station was pretty clean when I was there, probably just because not many people go there, and it serves a center of culture, Chinatown. And also, the station was really quiet. Just Septa stations in general are just really quiet. There's no escalators at most stations. There's no like heating and air conditioning. So the stations are just really quiet, which is generally is pretty nice unless someone's, freaking out over there and you can hear everything. But generally the quietness is pretty cool. All right, like everything in this world, there are cons. Number 1, the midday and Saturday service of 15 to 20 minutes, 14 to 20 minutes. I can't find an exact amount, but it's somewhere around there, is just not great. Number 2, as you saw in the video, around the station, there's just a bunch of parking lots and also parking garages. There's a few buildings and stuff, but there's just not much going on around the station. That's probably why it's the least used. And number 3 is there's just zero service on Sundays. You want to go to Chinatown on Sundays? Well, you can. It's not that far from other stations, and there's buses that go there. But if taking the Broad Street line down or up or whatever is best for you, then you can't do it on Sundays. Good luck. All right, I'm out here. It's really nice for December 30th, which is when I'm recording this. So I'm out doing my final bike ride of the year. And all in all, I give this station a rating of 3.5 out of 10. The subpar land use and the midday and Saturday frequency just simply don't make it a very attractive option for most people getting to this area. And that's shown in the ridership data. Thank you very much for watching this video. Special thanks to Aria, who was gracious enough to take time off from work and accompany me throughout the city. And another thank you to Steve from the YouTube channel How We Get Around for recording some video from this station and sending it to me because I wasn't able to get everything when I visited. Thank you very much for watching this video. I will see you next time. Goodbye.